Okay, here is my brain, and I am realizing that these are all backwards because I'm on video. Anyway, but I'm sure you kind of have an idea of what they are. I'll take a picture and send it in. I made it out of clay in my pottery class. And, okay, so let me explain the areas. This area right here is the frontal lobe. These two areas are the parietal lobes. Is the parietal lobe, temporal lobe on the side, the occipital lobe and the cerebellum, and the brainstem. So the frontal lobe is where there's higher level cognitive functions such as planning, speech. It can be emotion, attention, voluntary motion control. And the temporal lobe, the parietal lobes are, this is where the somatic senses received. The temporal lobes are known for hearing, auditory processing, and language comprehension. The occipital lobe is basically for vision. And the cerebellum back here, this area with it's kind of like, there's like dense tissue, not really big sulci, but it's kind of dense tissue on the back of your head. It's where it coordinates voluntary movements, it maintains balance, motor learning, kind of like they gave an example of like learning to ride a bike. This back here is the brainstem. This is where the spinal cord comes into the brain, and this brainstem is where, let's see, it controls the life-sustaining functions like heartbeat, breathing, consciousness, all the things that we don't think about that happen. And then in this front area, this line down in the middle is the cerebral longitudinal fissure, and then this line across, it separates the two hemispheres. This separation right here is called the the lateral fissure. And let's see, I've talked about that. Let's see. These two areas, the Broca's and the Wernicke's, let's see if you can see them. The Broca's and the Wernicke's, these are relative for especially in our speech program. It's for language. The Wernicke's for comprehension of language, and the Broca's is relevant for language production. And they're kind of like inside there on the side. The angular gyrus is, where is it? Oh, it's right here. It's on top of kind of the top part of the parietal lobe, and it plays a big role in reading and writing, and it supports language. And then we have the inferior temporal gyrus, the middle temporal gyrus, and the superior temporal gyrus, so obviously in the temporal lobe. And these are, superior temporal gyrus is auditory processing. The middle temporal gyrus is for language and somatic memory processing. It links the visual, auditory, and language systems in the brain. The inferior temporal gyrus, there's object recognition, like complex ones like the face and scenes. Okay, let's see. This Herschel's gyrus right here, this is actually just a little part of the Wernicke's area, and it's the primary receptive area for auditory information, so it really, it's relevant to us, being speech-language pathologists. Let's see, I already talked about the central sulcus, I talked about the brainstem. The precentral and postcentral gyrus. There's the precentral gyrus, right? Let's see. There's the postcentral. Where's the precentral? No, I can't find it. Oh, here's the precentral and postcentral gyrus. So it's kind of like these areas. The precentral gyrus, it's the primary point of activation for voluntary movement, where the postcentral gyrus is the primary reception area for somatic sense. And I think that is everything. And there is my brain.